and make that 5 straight post-game recap W's from your boys here at Banditland Boulevard. Trevor Howard, Tony LaMonica, the Bandits win another come-from-behind, low-scoring goaltending duel. Bandits, not only that, do they get another come-from-behind win, but they also get the season sweep over the crying, and I mean absolute crybaby, bum-ass losers in the Saskatchewan Rush. Read it on the screen right there. Sweep dream Saskatchewan. Bandits come back down 7-4. They were down 4-1. They were also down 5-2 in different parts of the game. They win the game 8-7. Measure that loss, Saskatchewan. Bring out the brooms. Sweep, sweep, sweep. We beat you again.
Yeah, I mean, the way how the Bandits were looking in the first half, again, slow start, but then strong finish, if you may say. And it's not always has to be the Dane and Josh show, but even though Josh had a good 7-point game, other players stepped up, like Joey Rez getting the game winner, Scanlon playing phenomenal, getting into the tough spots, Tahoka trying to set up the penalties against the defensive core of the Saskatoon Rush. But other than that, great defensive battle, great goaltending fight, but in the end, the champs still remain the champs, and they have the brooms out and ready to clean up as the Rush are moving towards the crybaby locker rooms after that little mishap, if you may say, with Paul Dawson's apparent illegal stick size. And apparently that, I guess, size does matter because the band win on that note in SAS and claims the victors of that night.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to jump into that part real quick before we get into
Let's do that.
Bolts about this game, talk about how much, number one, the amount of crybabies are on that Saskatchewan bench. I mean, they are up there with the Colorado Mammoth as far as teams that just nonstop cry. That head coach, not the first shift when Paul Dawson was out there, not the second quarter, not the third quarter, not the fourth quarter where he took 2 penalties. They figured out 59 minutes in and 35 seconds that Paul Dawson's stick was illegal. Now, explain to me this like I'm 5 years old, okay? Paul Dawson's stick was apparently shorter. That's what allegedly. We didn't get an official confirmation. We didn't see the zoom-in camera angle of it. His stick was apparently shorter than regulation size. Explain this to me like I'm 5. How does that give Paul Dawson any advantage whatsoever, especially on the defensive side? Wouldn't you want a longer stick to be able to block shots, get in the way of shots? If somebody's running past you down the left wing side, you get a longer stick, you get to smack it, and you probably get a better chance at knocking the ball out. How does Saskatchewan flipping out over a shorter stick affect the game? Well, the refs are going to referee too, and apparently it didn't take them almost the entire game to realize Paul Dawson had an I'm going to keep saying it, alleged illegal stick. You can miss me with that bullshit. I think Saskatchewan was just sad and salty that they blew a 7-4 lead and they were just throwing anything at the wall to see what sticks. So they saw Paul Dawson and they're like, oh, I don't know, his stick looks a little bit shorter than usual. We didn't get the official, we didn't get a message on the microphone. I don't know if the referee's mic wasn't working or we didn't get the zoom in shot on the broadcast of the measurement happening. So we're going to stick with the word alleged here. They send Paul Dawson to the sin bin. So this is with 25 seconds left to go in the game. Bandits are up 8-7. Vince makes a save, and it's Bandit ball. Johnny T calls a timeout to regroup the guys and just figure out how we're going to kill off these last 25 seconds. Then the Rush call the refs over, scream, cry, bitch that Paul Dawson's stick is too short. And the refs being the NLL referees, I mean, yeah, of course they're going to do whatever the Saskatchewan Rush bench says. They send Dawson to the box. Vince makes a save. The game's over. They run out the clock. Measure that. Measure this. Hold this and measure it. You crybaby bums. Thanks for the 2025 banner right there. It's hanging up proudly for every single one of you losers to see it.
Absolutely.
I'm rocking the green colors, the bandit green from the St. Patrick's Day to troll you losers too. Your jerseys, by the way, Saskatchewan, what the hell was that? What are those jerseys? The Rush Reimagined jerseys? That's expensive toilet paper, as far as I'm concerned. Fired up to go on this show tonight, Tony, because they needed government assistance to beat the Bandits. And they still only score 7 goals, and they once again lose to their fathers in the Buffalo Bandits. Can't get enough of it. Literally cannot get enough of it.
Well, the way the game was going, it looked like it was going to be bad news bears for us, especially with the way we were playing. But again, even though we had the more penalty minutes, we still stayed calm, cool, collective. We weren't hitting the panic button just yet, and they were just one quarter at a time making their way back into the game. And you know what? That's what's so scary about this roster. No matter if you lost your 2 main guys, like in Fraser and in Cloutier, now that they're in Vegas. But the fact is how good that this organization and how good this team is set up, that everyone can contribute a little piece here and there at a time and just make themselves look good. But other than that, kudos to like Matt Vince. Again, age is just a number, and he's playing like he's in his 20s all over again, just really sparking up the NLL world and how good defensively and how good goaltending wise he is, and just keeping these boys in the game as much as possible, stopping a 44 of 51 night. That again is huge on our part, but again, it takes great defense in front of him to do that too. And how good when Weiss came back doing what he does best, and that's protect. Priolo especially having a really good night, especially scoring the first goal of the game, and on top of it being a great defenseman that he is, and with Dawson being this tall and just in the way, blocking shots, and also getting the most loose balls in the game with 10. Mitch Desnew doesn't have to really be the all-time go-to defenseman, but again, he did contribute. He got a few shots in, and that's what really won this game for the Bandits, is great defense, good goaltending, but in the end, champs are champs for a reason, and we became on top as much as possible. And the Rush, I don't want to say like bad things, but why are you trying to dig deep for something that's not even technically like legal in the game, especially when they were, like you were saying about the stick size, but they were also checking out the head of the stick too, as well, of the netting as well. And that's another thing that they got to try to fish for some sort of attention. And you know what, Rush, when you know you're beat, you're beat. The end of story. You just can't go out there and go, oh, woo-hoo, we had like a 4 or 5 goal lead, we should have won. Yeah, you should have won, but you gave up against the very best in the business. And let me tell you, the Bandits don't around. They find out, and you guys found out real quick that you can lose a game in a heartbeat and a finger snap. So that's not how to play lacrosse. The Bandits show you how to play lacrosse, and the way how their streak is going right now 5 straight, that's huge in our books. And you know what? I'm glad I'm on that side of the orange and black, and I know you are too, Trevor.
Damn right. Yeah, going from 4-6 to 9-6, and in such a wild and woolly game. Like, there was a time in the second quarter where I think Scanlon takes a shot, and Chiliano had to like take all of his equipment off because they didn't know where the ball was. That was interesting to see. That was odd. The whole illegal stick thing. I will say adversity had to be shown. Connor Farrell, I saw all the comments, what everyone was saying. Connor Farrell was not a healthy scratch. We have some of the inside information. It's not public information, but so we're not going to explain to you why he wasn't playing, but let's just say right now that he wasn't a healthy scratch. Was not a healthy scratch. So Johnny T would not scratch the Fogo guy. That is absolutely absurd. And the fact that a lot of the fan base thought that is ridiculous to me. No, he was not a healthy scratch whatsoever. Trust me. If any of that information does come out during the week, you will see why, but can't explain it yet because it's not public information. So we're not going to.
Nope.
No, we're not going to.
We're not going to disclose it under copyright reasons. So
yeah, no. But yeah, 3 for 19 on the faceoff dot because you're missing your head man. They were already facing some adversity there. We had a rotation of Dylan Robinson, Mitch Desnew, Nick Weiss. I think Ian McKay took a couple faceoffs too.
Right.
Going up against one of the best in the business with Jake Nasso. Man, he's one of the best. So they had their work cut out for him. But despite all of those possessions that they won off the faceoff, really didn't affect the Bandits that much. Matt Vince was sipping out of the fountain of youth. Looks like he's turning the clock back a lot lately, and he's back to his usual self. I thought the defense once again played phenomenal. That cross check though, what was the call? I think they got the wrong player. They tagged the wrong player on the cross checking penalty.
It was Desnu that gave the hit. It was Belter that went to the box, but Belter didn't do nothing.
Belter apparently got called for a check from behind because the referee on the other side of the rink made the call, didn't see that it was Mitch Desnu. So
correct.
NLL referees continue to be absolutely horrendous. They are a joke. I will say Paul Dawson in that fourth quarter, you cannot take that extra two.
No.
Blocked. That's literally the Paul Dawson rule. The delay of game penalty that he took in the fourth quarter when he blocked
that was iffy too.
That's a penalty by rule. So just go to the box. He said something else to the referee, picked up another two. Saskatchewan scored 2 on that power play. And at that point, it was 7-4. And you're thinking to yourself, there's still some time here on the clock, but I'm not really feeling good. They have to they got to pull something out of last week's hat and do another come from behind victory. I mean, Austin Shanks scored on that first power play. Robert Schurz scored on the second power play. And then very similar to last week, Tony, I mean, 1 goal in the first quarter, not looking too hot. They scored a couple more in that second quarter. Still not great. 1 goal in the third, not great at all. And then when you go to the fourth quarter, when they're down by 3 and their backs are against the wall, that is when they start to show adversity. 8:43 remaining in the fourth. Kyle Buchanan scores a beautiful goal on a great pass from Josh Byrne to make it 7-4, or to make it 7-5. Dane Smith scores less than a minute later, and when it was 7-6, Tony, and I was watching that broadcast, I was thinking to myself, Bandits got this. This is shades of last week. I've seen this movie before. The Rush are going to choke this away, and they're going to cry themselves off of the floor. And I didn't think it was going to be to that extent, the antics with 25 seconds remaining. But, yeah, they were definitely crying in a different way. Then Josh Byrne ties it with 2:41 remaining. There's a bunch of different scoring chances that went from Dane Smith's goal to Josh's goal, where Chiliano was just making huge saves. And then on the other side, Vince was making some big saves too. Paul Dawson was blocking a ton of shots. I think he has 32 block shots on the year and at least 5 block shots from yesterday. Just back and forth. Josh Byrne sees a little opening, gets a great pass from Dylan Robinson, scores and ties it up at 7. And then the Buffalo boy, Hamburg Joe, Buffalo Joe, 46 seconds remaining in the game. He's silent on the score sheet all game long. He's got chance after chance, and he's just getting robbed by Chiliano. And in a very similar way that we've seen goals against us when he played for the Philadelphia Wings, the Albany Firewolves, whatever uniform Joe Resetarits was wearing, he catches it underhand and scores that top of the crease goal that we're so used to seeing from Joe Resetarits. 8-7 lead. Rush get a couple possessions. Obviously, they get a power play with 25 seconds left, but still the Bandits slam the door. And Nick Weiss, what did you think of Nick Weiss at the end of that game, Tony? Running with a stick up, pointing to it, saying, "Check my stick, you losers! Check my stick." You just lost. You got swept by the Bandits. So not only, Tony, the Bandits end the Rush's undefeated road streak this year in February, they defeated they broke their undefeated home streak.
Yes, they did
at the end of March. So I don't know what to say, Tony. I mean, you got the 2025 banner right there. I know you have one too.
Of course. You
got the season sweep. The Bandits in regular season history have never lost a game in that building at the SaskTel Center. They lost game 2 there in the playoffs, but regular season-wise, they are undefeated in that building. What can you say other than the fact that the Bandits own these frauds from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan?
Well, all I can say is that the teacher has taught the student once again. And the fact that what we did against San Diego, we've always beat them at their barn, and it's unreal how good we are against these West Coast teams, especially how we make a statement on every game that we go play against them. To talk back about that Nick Weiss little kind of like, hey, karma's a bitch, when you go point to them like, hey, check mine. Is it okay? Did I score? And even though they didn't credit him to his empty netter goal at the end, and it ended up being 8-7 instead of 9-7. But the fact is that, look, you may talk your talk, but we walk the walk. And Nick Weiss was telling him, hey, this is, I don't know if you want to check mine, but even though it didn't count, we still beat you. So if you want to cry about one little thing, you're going to cry about something else, and that is the Big Al. and believe me when I say this, is that I'd rather have you cry of the loss than over a person's stick any given day of the week. And you know what? Let them cry. Let them do what they got to do. Now they got to lick their wounds even more. Now knowing that, crap, if the Bandits meet us in the playoffs again, and we just be like, crap, we cannot beat these guys. Good. It's in your head. We got inside your head. We're like the CM Punk against you guys now. We are now the best in the world, and you got to remember that.
I mean, then they've been the best in the world, Tony, for 3 straight years. Like they've been going to the finals every year since pre-COVID.
What does that tell you, boys?
They're the best in the
We're the best. We're the best in the lacrosse league. Yeah.
Now, if I can go through some of the Saskatchewan Rush schedule here, I just want to do this for fun. Let's see. You start off with the month of February. They beat San Diego 12-9. Beat the Warriors 9-8 in overtime. Beat the Wings 14-6. Here's where things start to get a little bit dicey for the Saskatchewan Rush. They lose. So I don't know exactly what their record was at this time, but I know it was really good. I think they only had 1 loss on the year, if I'm not mistaken at this point. Could be wrong, but I don't think I am. They go to Buffalo February 27th, lose in overtime. Then they lose in Rochester, also in overtime. They barely squeak by the San Diego Seals. I think they win. And did they win or lose in Toronto? I don't remember. This is not accurate. This website is not accurate. I don't know if they did that or not. But then they go to Buffalo and lose 8, or then they face against Buffalo again and they lose 8-7. Ever since playing the Bandits in Banditland, February 27th, the Rush have started to dip. And for the Bandits, since February 27th, when they were 4-6 at the time going into the game against the best team in the league in the Rush, that is when their season started to skyrocket in the standings. They were 4-6. They came off a really, really crappy loss in Vancouver the week before. Now we got to play the best team in the league in Banditland. Like, we're 4-6. We lose this game, we're going to be 4-7, and the season's likely going to be over. They go to overtime in that game. The Bandits win. Then they go on this unreal streak. And then for the Rush, since playing the Bandits in February, their season has gone down, maybe outside of a couple games here and there. But this just shows you, I would rather peak in March, April on our way to May than peak in January and late December, like the Rush have, like the Rochester Nighthawks have, like the Colorado Mammoth have. Vancouver looks like they have a legit shot at getting the number 1 overall seed. They have not stepped down as of yet. Georgia Swarm, they've been hanging around all season long. They've been a pretty decent team. But it's these teams like the Rush. It's these teams like the Nighthawks. It's these teams like the Toronto. Maybe Toronto here and there. But like the Colorado Mammoth. These are teams that are peaking in January. They got nothing in the tank for March, April, pushing playoffs in May. I'm just glad I'm in the Bandit shoes right now because we went from virtually dead on arrival at 4-6 to not only are we revived, but we could be talking about the next couple weeks hosting a quarterfinal matchup, which is unbelievable to think about. So we got to thank the Rush for helping the Bandits kickstart their season and beating them like the Bandits always do. So love beating those guys. I love beating that coaching staff. I mean, I still got some love for Derek Keenan, obviously, former Bandit, but the other loser with the soccer haircut, that guy who nonstop cries on the bench and throws his arms up in the air when one of his players falls down. Love watching him lose. I love watching Robert Church lose and all those other guys. Bunch of bums, bunch of clowns, bunch of frauds. It's great. I love watching them lose, but I will say, if the Rush go on a historic fall off, credit the Bandits on February 27th for kickstarting that toilet bowl rush that that Saskatchewan's falling through right now. But big win. I will say though, if you want to go in and you want to give the fan base a bunch of confidence going into this next week, keep on what you're doing with defensively and goaltending wise. I think if the playoffs started right now, and this is the defense that we're getting, and this is the goaltending that we're getting, bar none, punch our ticket to the finals right now. The other side of that is the offense for the Bandits needs work. 2 straight weeks where, I mean, you're coming off a game against Colorado. You smoked them. You put up 13 goals on the Mammoth? And you're thinking, we're going to go into San Diego and roll these guys. You scored 9. You had to go to overtime to get that 9th goal. And then you go into Saskatchewan and score 8. Maybe, some teams in the league have figured you out. It's really time to open up the playbook now. Start getting the ball to Buchanan more. Start creating more plays for Clay Scanlon. Have your stars continue to be stars. Have your Josh Burns continue to be Josh Byrne. Have your Dane Smiths get their 10-point nights, and have Joey create some plays for Joey Rezateritz too. Something in this offense needs to be tweaked because yes, you are winning these games, but at the same point, your offense doesn't look great until halfway through the 4th quarter. And if teams can really stifle you until that part, it's going to be hard to at least make a deep postseason run. If it's that do or die quarterfinals matchup, that game 1 winner take all game, and that defense has you figured out, it might be a long night for you. You're not going to see some of these lesser teams in the playoffs. So we got to get back to seeing that 11, 12, 13, 14 goal pace a night. And I think if you do that and you keep your goaltending and defense the same, the 4-peat has never been more on in this season. But something needs to be tweaked in that offense because, I'm looking at Joey Rezateritz and I'm happy for him that he got that game-winning goal. But I'm also looking at the highlights from this afternoon. Lucas Nielsen, I'm just going to say it right now, he scored a hat-trick this afternoon against the Toronto Rock. It would have been nice to have somebody on this team that scored a hat-trick last night or in the San Diego game to get some insurance goals so it's not like a bite-your-nails type of finish. Just saying, this offense needs to be a lot better if you truly want to make that push to a 4-peat championship.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And going back to what you were stating about with Toronto playing SAS or SAS playing Toronto, they did lose to Toronto 13-9 in their last meeting at March 20th. So again, that's what tells you the downfall from thinking you got it to almost saying, well, our playoff chance is going to be there in the end, but you've already marked your ticket in. So, and now it just depends on where you want to play position wise. But if you keep this streak going, Buffalo's going to reverse the roles, and we're going to be up on top, and Rush is going to have to look on going, great, now we got to go travel to our enemy territory, and we're not going to have all the confidence in the world to beat them there. So if that's the way you guys want to play.
Since February 27th, the Bandits are 5-0. Since February 27th, the Rush are 1-4. Bottom line, that's it right there. What does that tell you? Champs
are champs for a reason.
Yep.
Also, for going back to what you were saying about Joey Rez, or how this offense needs to click, you got to spread it around. It can't be just Dane and Josh doing all the work again. And again, the passing's got to be limited because of the fact that you're not taking as much shots as you should have this past game. But the fact is that you only had 43 total shots to their 55. 55, I believe.
Yeah.
So again, I'm not saying you got to average 50 plus shots per game, but you need to start shooting more and then getting to the loose balls and then resetting the clock. That's what they were trying to do to you, to tire your defense out in the goaltending. But thank God they were on point because the defense didn't give up, nor did Vince give up at all. And that's why we won this game, because we had the confidence in the world that we could do this. But you cannot rely on the defense and the goaltending to win you the games. You got to score goals to win, so the offense needs to click. They need to get to that 12 to 15 goal average per night to help you assure the victory. But again, Dane Smith's got to rely on going to Scanlon or go to Tahoka or go to Kyle Buchanan, the secondary guys. If obviously Byrne could get 2 goals, that's great. If Dane could get 2 goals, that's also great. If Joe Rez could get 2 goals, there's 6 already there itself. And if everyone else can score secondary wise, Buchanan getting 1, Nanakoke, Scanlon, Weiss, you name it, they can score goals.
Hendricks maybe.
And I'll get to him in a second.
Yeah,
but the fact is that how this offense could click, that's a surprise. But I was also shocked that Hendricks was playing forward this game when isn't he a defenseman or transition?
That was Johnny T's idea, was to use him more out of the front door. But
you want to know what he looked like?
That was filling in for Connor Farrell.
He looked like Triolo out there who couldn't catch a pass or get a loose ball to save his life.
Yeah, I'm
sorry to say that about you, Mr. Hendricks, but dude, you had the opportunities. You even had seconds to pick up the damn ball and get it, but you look lost out there. I'm sorry, but
there was one play where he was wide open in the top of the slot, and Dane Smith just missed him.
Oh my God! Well, the passes were bad.
And I was like, oh my God! He was snake bitten a couple of times, But I mean, if he was going to play forward, I would just rather see Coltrane Tyson activated.
I would have loved to have that kid play instead of Hendricks. No offense, but dude, I don't know what you were thinking out there, but you look lost. Like you didn't know what you were doing out there. Like it was your first game ever playing for a National Lacrosse League team.
But
like you played for Toronto, you played for Calgary. Where's that skill set? You've got to get that back on track. Otherwise, you're going to be sitting the rest of the year. And Coltrane is actually going to get that spot for you. And believe me, that kid's shown a lot in this first game.
Yeah. I mean, Mike McCannell started off the same way. Like he had a really, really rough start with the Bandits, and he looks pretty solid now. So maybe it's just like getting your feet wet. I mean, this is Tyler Hendricks' first game, and as a Buffalo Bandit, there's a lot of pressure that goes into it, I assume.
Sure, but, I can assume.
Yeah. I mean, there was that one play, and I think it was the third quarter, where he was wide open in the top of the slot, and Dane just missed him completely. I'm like, oh, my God. Like, passes got to be better. They got to be much better. The offense entirely needs to be better. But I do like the fact that Johnny T is trying out new things. Like, hey, we're going to throw Coltrane in one night, see what he's got. Tyler Hendricks this night. Okay. All right. Well, Nick Weiss is back, so we're gonna sit Thomas Whitty. So I like what we're doing. I like the sense of change, and it really sort of feels like you gotta earn your spot out there. And players are gonna try hard in practice. They're gonna try hard during the games. And if Johnny T thinks that you're not putting all that 110% effort in, you probably won't play the next game. So he's thinking like a winner. I mean, he's won 7 of these championships. He's won as a player, one as a coach, so he knows what he's doing. But you know, we have said in the past, Tony, I think when we start off the season 4-6, we should not be picky. The offense, while we do think it does need a little bit more work, we have said on record in this show multiple times that just as long as you have one extra goal scored more than the other team, that helps us out in the win column. Shouldn't be too picky on the offense, but I think that once they get back home, they're going to figure this thing out. I think once they get back in front of the Bandits fans and
next 2 games,
Saturday, Marvel Night in Buffalo next Saturday, I think that's when they're going to get their confidence back. Christian Del Bianco, they want to steal something in Banditland, keep that number 1 seed going. But the Bandits, when they go up against these higher seeds, they always play well, especially in Banditland. They score a lot of goals. I really didn't expect Colorado that game, the Bandits, to run Dylan Ward or chase Dylan Ward in the first half. But that is what this offense is capable of doing. And I think the offense will come back. At least we're seeing this type of offense in March, and we're not seeing it in game 1 of the quarterfinals in May. So I'm down with that, but a big 8-7 victory. I will say that magic number to at least clinch a playoff spot is probably 10-8. 10-8 probably gets you in, I think, as the 8 seed at the very least. So, but if you can beat Saskatchewan and sweep them, and you can beat Colorado at home, and you could hang with Vancouver, and you could also beat Georgia in your home opener, why not shoot for 11-7, 12-6 to round out the season? And maybe with that record, you could probably with 12-6, you could probably host a quarterfinal game. 11-7, it's kind of up in the air whether you're going to get the 4 or 5 seed. But how does that sound though? Starting off the season 4-6, finishing 12-6 or 11-7. I will take that.
That's amazing. I'll definitely take that too. That's just hard work and not giving up at all. And that's what every year the Bandits have been proving time and time again, that the reasons why they go almost every single season to the playoffs of the National Lacrosse League is how good, no matter who's on the roster, they find a way with a system that is working for them. And Johnny T, again, even though this seems somewhat sketchy this year because of the defensive way, but we've seen it happen before, like past years ago. It's not like it's a untold story. It's a basically the same story coming again, but just with different players and just showing up that anything is possible, and how good this team has become, and they've gelled together as one. So kudos to them. Moving on, coming home finally for the next 2 games is going to be huge for the Bandits, and especially for the fans in Banditland. We've been waiting for a while now after 3 weeks. So we'll have Vancouver in Buffalo coming April 4th.
And it really should be fun. Marvel Night. I was at the Sabres game yesterday when they beat the Seattle Kraken in a shootout, and I did see at the Sabres store that they were selling a Marvel Bandits sweatshirt. It had Thanos on it. So
oh boy,
Are we getting a purple, gold, and black Marvel jersey? That's kind of what I'm thinking. And I honestly think Thanos works for the Bandits. They've kind of turned into the villain. Nobody wants to see them continue to win except for the Bandit fans. And they are collecting championship rings like Thanos collects
the stones.
Infinity Stones. Yeah.
Yep.
So I feel like that really kind of comes out and looks. I feel like that's a great thing that the Bandits could do. The Firewolves, I think, rocked like Deadpool jerseys against the Nighthawks the other night, and those were bad. So hopefully our jerseys are a little bit better than that. If we can get I thought the Toronto Rock had phenomenal Marvel jerseys. The Spider-Man with the webs coming down, I thought that was great. Nighthawks had some good ones too when they played against the Roughnecks at
Philly
home.
having the Black Panther.
The Black Panther one was cool. We get Thanos. So can we get a purple and black gold jersey? I will take that in 2 seconds. I will be at the arena at 3:30 buying my Josh Byrne Marvel jersey 100% if that were to happen. But the leaks should be coming out this week. They really should be because the game's in less than a week now. So look out for the potential leaks. Thanos. It's probably going to be Thanos. Just putting that out there. If anyone was at the Sabres game at the Sabres store and caught that, that's going to be pretty cool. But other than that, Bandits 8-7 victors over the Saskatchewan Rush at the SaskTel Center, getting the season sweep. Once again, take the tape measures out and measure the size of that massive Bandits W, Saskatchewan Rush, and all their fans and all their coaching staff. So hold that L. And to Mike Messenger, too, who tried to start a fight with Kyle Buchanan there in that third quarter. Pick on someone your own size, Messenger, or Chase Fraser's going to fly over and punch you right in the nuts again. So I throw that out there. I think that's what one of the Bandits should do every time Mike Messenger's giving Kyle Buchanan a hard time. Maybe Dane goes over there and butt ends him in the nads. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. This might be a potential playoff matchup, and if that is, injected right into my veins because I'd love to beat your ass yet again. I'd love to watch the Bandits whoop your ass in that ugly ass green turf that you have and those stupid jerseys that you were rocking. Those were disgusting. Rush reimagine. More like Rush, throw those freaking burn them in the dumpster, but flush them down the toilet because it's expensive toilet paper. But other than that, this has been the Rush Roast Show. So everybody, thanks for watching. And the tip jars on the other side of the. If you like it, leave us a tip on the YouTube video. But other than that, Banditland Boulevard player of the game. I feel like we got to mention this, Tony.
Yeah,
I think the number one player that kept us alive in this game, even when times look tough. I got to give it to the goaltender who turned the clock back 20 years. Matt Vince, man, he has turned into a brick wall. He continues to prove to everybody that he will forever be the greatest goaltender that this National Lacrosse League has ever seen. 43 years old, shuts down the 2025 championship runner-ups to 7 goals, holds them to under 8. That's
like scary good in Rick Jenneret's eyes. And the fact that how, everybody on the defensive core has teamed up with Vince and how adequate that he could be, especially with like finding the shot, seeing that he could see the long shots coming, protecting the corners. He did a great job because they were trying to pick his shoulder up the whole entire time. So they're like, well, if we can't beat him top corner, because he figured that out. So then when they tried going low, it was just another brick wall to find. And how Matt Vince was really performing this game, he just shows you that age is just a number, and he's still got it, folks. I mean, I thought for sure in the beginning of the season where we looked like it was down and out, and then Vince was like, nope, I'm not through yet. I've got a lot of game left in me, and he's proven that in these last 5 games that he has still got the youth on his side. And kudos to that pick, because I would have picked him too. But for me, I'm going to go with Buffalo's very own Buffalo Joe Resetarits, getting the game-winning goal, finally getting a rhythm back that he can score goals at will when he wants to. And that's something that the Bandits offense has got to start relying on. It can't be just Dane and Josh that always scores the goals for you. Joe can still score too as well. And if you give him the opportunities and you give him the amount of shots that he needs, he will score a hat trick here and there. He will get multiple points for you as long as you keep putting that trusted number 1-5 in there. Joe Resetarits is the go-to guy. So congratulations, Joe, on that game-winning goal.
That was big. I mean, I thought that when it was 7-4, when the Bandits were really starting to struggle there in that second half. I was like, oh, like, I don't know. Are they going to pull a last week out of their hats and have lightning kind of strike twice in the same spot? I guess they did. I mean, you look at these teams that they're beating when their offense isn't even at 50%, and this is still impressive, where their defense and goaltending is carrying them to wins, and it's great to see that where the defense was in January and late December to where they are now. Like, it is a totally different ball game for them, but it is great to see. I love seeing it, and I love watching the Bandits beat the Rush. It's always a treat to see that. But the Bandits have won 5 in a row. They're 9-6 now. I'd love to see them win out, go 12-6, get a top 4 spot, and host in the quarterfinals. But we'll just have to see what happens here. But 8-7 from the SaskTel Center in Saskatoon. Big win, get the season sweep, and if God forbid they keep falling down and the Bandits keep going up in the standings, Bandits got that head-to-head tiebreaker over the Rush too, so that only helps. But Tony, I think right now after the big W, looking for 6 wins in a row, coming off of 5 straight, time to shout out those sponsors.
You got it. Banditland Boulevard is brought to you in part by Mitchell's Tavern, located at 734 Sheridan Drive up in Tonawanda, New York. Guys, Banditland Boulevard, myself, Tony LaMonica, over there, Trevor Howard, is telling you to go check out Mitchell's Tavern. They got great food, amazing service. They will treat you like family. Also, we'd like to if you guys want to book your next big trip or vacation, go to Herney's Journeys at Herney'sJourneys.com under Suzanne Pike at Herney'sJourneys.com. Let her book your next big adventure. And also, finally, we'd like to thank Nino's Pizzeria, located at 2 locations in Western New York, one at 1737 Orchard Park Road in West Seneca and in 315 Buffalo Street in Hamburg. Guys, if you want to order your pizza, wings, fingers, subs, you name it, as you like it, only in America. And for those watching us here live on YouTube through StreamYard, give us that like, subscribe, hit that notification bell every time we talk about Buffalo Bandits lacrosse. And for those just only listening in on their device known demand through your tablet, your phone, or your radio station through Spotify, please give us that 5-star rating that we talk only good things about your men in the orange and black, your Buffalo Bandits.
With that said, hey, sweep dreams. Sweep dreams.
Sweep dreams.
I've been sitting on that one for a while. Yeah.
Yes.
Rush. Sorry.
No, we're not sorry. We're not sorry.
No, measure it. Measure the size of this win streak, because it's going to keep getting bigger and bigger.
I don't know. Maybe they got to measure the size of this championship belt because they can't get to there yet.
You know how long ago 2016 was? Hopefully they're still sitting on that. Hopefully they still love that. But whatever. Measure the championship drought that you guys are going to be going through for years on end. But while we keep extending our win streak and trying to go for a 4-peat here, but ending the show with 3 simple words, especially after a big win in the SaskTel Center. Tony, what are those 3 words?
As Chris Swenson always says in Banditland, everybody can help me out here in 3, 2, 1. Let's go, Bandits. Let's go, boys. You got Vancouver next week, and let's take it to them in Banditland. Let's give them the reason why we're the champs. Let's go.
Hey, Saskatchewan. 2 words. Sweep dreams.
Sweep dreams.